I'm Tracy Matthews. I am the liaison to the Business Advocacy Committee of the Campbell County Chamber of Commerce. Today I'm here with Butch Knutson. He's running for the office of County Commissioner. Thank you, Butch, for being here, and I'll have you do a brief introduction.
Well, thank you for having me. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a Wyoming native. Was born in Newcastle, been in Campbell County for 55 years. I've been married 48 years, have 3 children. One lives here, one in Torrington, one North Carolina. 30 years in the agriculture business, 30 years in the oil and gas business, and 18 years in the mining industry. So I feel like I represent most of Campbell County very well. Currently, I'm 100% rancher. I left the mine in '01 and I started oil and gas business. I bought drilling rigs and started drilling methane wells. And a few years later, I sold out of that and I started another company called Whiz Well Service. And we were hole plugging, we were well killing, we were the biggest reclaimer in the state, and had over 100 employees over the period of time. They were very successful businesses, but when the methane died, we just decided that enough was enough, and so we sold our businesses, and we're just strictly ranchers right now. So that's pretty much it. I just feel like my time on the sidelines has been long enough, and I feel like that maybe I ought to come out of my shell and do something for the county. I was offered the commissioner job twice when 2 other commissioners resigned, and I told them no, and I had big projects going, and one of the projects fell through, and I thought, you know what, maybe this is time for me to get involved, so I'm running for Campbell County Commissioner.
Thank you. So, Butch, do you support penny power? And if so, are you willing to support it as part of your campaign?
I support penny power 95%. There was a survey sent out in Campbell County in 2018. There was 29,700 registered voters at the time. And so they sent out approximately 2,900 surveys between Gillette, Wright, Rosette, and Recluse. And a certain percentage of these came back, and virtually there was 10 questionnaires on there, and virtually most of them came back, and they were Wright and Gillette was pretty much the same. Number 1 was road maintenance, and number 2 was water and sewer, and number 3 was protective wear for firefighters and law enforcement. As the county came back, it was pretty much road maintenance and Campbell County road and gravel, and there was veterans was in the number 3, and safety for the school children, and safety equipment for law enforcement and firefighters. So virtually, if you look at penny power, even if you don't like it, it affects everybody, because it's a good thing, because everybody has to have water and sewer and road maintenance, and so whether you like penny power or not, it does a lot of good for everyone. There's a lot of other things that go good with penny power that I would say is not counting just the infrastructure, but there's a lot of good programs that it represents. The Yes House, the Boys and Girls Club, the Second Chance Ministries, just to name a few, but I think penny power in all is a great thing.
Thank you. So, Butch, thinking long term, where would you like to see Campbell County in 20 years? And what is your plan to help accomplish that vision?
A long-term plan for Campbell County is 80% of Campbell County's budget comes from coal, oil, and gas. And so we need to work with coal, oil, and gas to make sure that the longevity of our energy sustains here in Campbell County. Wyoming can't survive on tourism and agriculture, so I feel it's very important that that we work with whatever it takes in the coal industry, whether it's lowering taxes or whatever it is, to maintain all the workforce that we can manage here in Campbell County. As far as oil and gas goes, I think we have an ace in the hole. We have a Wyoming senator named John Barrasso that's on the Energy Committee in Washington, D.C. And I talked to him here recently, and I was asking him about some other things that go on in Washington. And he said, Butch, he said, I don't know what goes on in Washington, except I fight every day for the energy of Wyoming, to keep and maintain everybody in Wyoming working and try to make it as productive as we can. And the third thing that would be for Wyoming would be if we would have to tweak the tax system. And this can't be brought on by the commissioners, this would have to be at a vote. But if we tweak the tax system, we could probably start soliciting a lot more businesses and different things coming into town. But until the tax structure changes, it would have to take so much to outweigh even a percentage of the oil and gas on the 80% that at this point it isn't feasible. But somewhere down the road, we're probably going to have to tweak the tax system when the oil and gas and the 80% of our royalty tax comes in that isn't there anymore. We'll have to make a few changes.
So Butch, what policy changes or investments are necessary to encourage broader employment?
Well, every day I run into somebody that I worked with in the mines, and they go, hey Butch, I'm retired now. And I say, is that a minus or a plus? And they go, what do you mean? And I say, what do you do? And I said, everybody needs something to do when they get up in the morning so that they got a reason to get up and get out of bed. And I say, you got to make the bed so you don't get back into bed. But anyway, I say, what do you do? And I said, you can only hunt and fish and golf so much. You need a reason to get up and get going. And I find a lot of them think that retirement is an age thing. Well, retirement isn't an age thing. It's when you have enough money or you want to retire, it's a good thing. But if you don't have enough money or you're still not satisfied with the job you left, I tell them about certain things. I say, I have friends that drive school buses that are retired from the mines, and I have friends that mow grass for the Campbell County Parks and Rec because they're retired. They still need something to do. So I think part of the workforce today, because this is such a tough question, because the workforce is not there. But I'm just saying, if you're retired and you need more to do, stay working at your past employment or find some other thing to help businesses around town or in the county that could use your expertise or your physical ability. Because I think just people in general just want to retire. Half the people I talk to are Cheetos and Fox News. The other half want to do something. So I think part of it, I think we could just get people to work longer and enjoy more of their retirement and what they do. Another thing I think on a broader scale would be, I think we should evaluate all the people that graduate from high school that are not college bound. I think we should evaluate them and find their IQ and find out what they're qualified to do in life. And I think that the people that don't have a program of what they want to do or where they want to go, I think we could evaluate them, and we could set up schools all across the country, whether they be electrician, a plumber, a carpenter, a rancher, heavy equipment operator. There's 10,000 jobs out there that I think we could set up schools for, and we could get all these people that don't have a clue of what they want to do trained in some kind of a position. And these schools would be set up by private enterprise and on the same scenario as a college loan. And once these people are trained, they may be from who knows where, but anyway, once they've learned a trade, we'll find them a job. They may have to relocate, but once they have a trade, they're no longer acceptable for government money, because the government or the people we have trained them and give them an occupation and a career that should sustain the rest of their lives. And so I just think that that's a possibility. I think it's probably going to have to come from the federal level, but it's just something I think that would work good all the way across the country to get people back to work and find people that want to work and give them an opportunity to find work.
So what do you see as the most pressing needs for infrastructure and capital projects?
Well, infrastructure, I think that we need to evaluate all Campbell County property and put it up for sale or put it up for lease, because it's just a hinder on Campbell County taxpayers. I think that we have all this extra land that we're not using. I think it should be sold off or leased out to private bid out, and all the money that it generates should go into a coffer for a rainy day. As far as capital projects, I think that the county needs to decide what its wants and needs really are. I think big government has big problems, little government has little problems, but evaluating and growing big government I don't think is good for Campbell County, because big government, all they want to do is build more capital projects which create more maintenance and more taxpayers' money. So I think what we should do on projects is just keep what we have and maintain them and cut the taxpayers as much as we can.
What county departments have you been to in the last year, and what have you learned about their services?
This is a really good question for me. I ranch 30 miles north of Gillette, and my ranch has had 2 fires in the last 4 years. And one was started by hunters, and the last one was started by underground coal fires. And so we had a big fire there last fall, and I got to say that the Campbell County Road and Bridge was totally awesome. The Campbell County Fire Department was totally awesome. All the neighbors from Gillette to Sundance showed up with sprayers, was phenomenal. The federal firefighters showed up, it was great. The airplane showed up and dropped chemical. It was quite a production, you know. And the winds were blowing 45 to 55 miles an hour and weren't supposed to sustain till 5 that morning. Well, at 12:30 that night, the winds died. And we got a handle on the fire, and we got it put out. And so anyway, to make a long story short, about 2 months later, we got a fire on the back of Horse Creek Butte. And the neighbors called me up, and the fire at night would just be roaring and blowing a lot of ashes and a lot of smoke and a lot of debris in the air. So anyway, I thought, wow, we don't need another fire, you know, because 2 fires in 2 years is enough. So I went to the Campbell County Road and Bridge, talked to Kevin Geis, and he says, we're not budgeted for that. He said, this isn't part of our entity in which Campbell County Road and Bridge is actually responsible for. So I went to the Campbell County Fire Department, and they said, we're only budgeted to fight fires, not to put fires out before they start, because I was really a big advocate on preventive maintenance, you know, and I thought, let's get these fires put out. So then as I'm talking to these, I find out that there's other ranchers in the county that have the same problem as I do, underground coal fires. And if you go back a few years, on my ranch, a lot of the homesteaders came and dug the coal out of the ground where I live to heat their houses. So I have hundreds and hundreds of coal outcroppings that come to the top of the ground. Well, all it takes for a coal fire is water and air, and poof, you got fire. So anyway, on this coal fire on the back of Horse Creek Butte, so I got no response from the Road and Bridge, and I got no response from the fire department. So I went to the commissioners, thinking that I'd get some answers. Well, I never got to talk to the commissioners, but I did get to talk to the lady that takes all the notes and informs the commissioners of what's going on. So a few days later, I get a call from a commissioner, and they want to come and look at the fire. And anyway, I'm still waiting for that day for the commissioner to come and look at the fire. so it's never been there. So I'm thinking like, well, we need a program in this county or a budget or whatever it may take to get more advocacy between the Campbell County Road and Bridge and the Campbell County Fire Department. And we probably need a set-aside program for preventive maintenance. And so if we're going to continue to have fires, which makes a lot of sense, it'd be pretty good to have preventive maintenance and stop these fires before they ever burn everybody out. The last fire I had burned about 5,000 acres on me, and the fire before that burned about 500 acres on me, but went on to burn 7,000 or 8,000 acres. So we've got a problem in this county, and I just think as a commissioner, I would get a budget going for preventive maintenance on fires in Campbell County. Thank you.
And then lastly, Butch, if there's anything that we haven't talked about that you would like the voters of Campbell County to know about you, here's your opportunity.
Well, for me personally, the biggest thing that I want to be a commissioner about is foolish spending. I think this county has so much foolish spending that it's out of control. I think people are real good about spending other people's money. And as a taxpayer, I have no problem paying taxes, but I do have a problem with the way my tax dollars are being spent. For instance, the Campbell County Camplex has a budget of $15 million, but only generates 7% back. So to me, this is a serious problem, because $14.25 million is actually all comprised of Campbell County taxpayers' money. And so I have a lot of ideas for the Camplex, how to generate, make it, I'm not saying debt-free, but way more prosperous than what it's doing. And I think it could become quite an entity, quite a value to the county other than a liability. I think that there's other ways in this county to look at things. The county has a brand new accounting system, and it will tell us where money is being spent, all the money that's being spent and how it's being spent. So I would like to take a serious look at this and see where all the money is being spent, and if it's being spent foolishly, then I think come budget time, I think it's going to make a decision on how much money they really need compared to how much money they really get. And that's just a few of the things that, but I can tell you this, I've got morals and values and scruples, and I'm honest and I'm fair, and I'm not a politician. Poly means many, ticks means blood-sucking animals. So politics is many blood-sucking animals, and I'm not a politician. I'm just going to be a person for the people. And my name's Butch Knutson, and I'd appreciate your vote. I'm running for Campbell County Commissioners. So vote the Butch. Butch Knutson for Campbell County Commissioner. Thank you.